We have the largest panoramic slab floor ever sold by Dahl throughout their entire company nationwide.
One of my favorite parts of the house, first of all, the house isn't done, but already my favorite part is this entry. My wife called it entry envy. I guess it's a thing now. This is the entry envy of all entry envies. What's the depth here? What's the dimension here? This is like 30 by 20 or something like that?
48 by 30.
Oh my God. And we have a catwalk up at the top, a floating staircase. Everything is obviously custom, a 10-foot fireplace, and just glass on both sides at sizes I've never seen.
And what will be 13-foot tall, 8.5-foot wide.
Show the size of this door.
So that's our temporary door.
Literally right now what you're seeing in wood, in this OSB, this is the size of the door.
That's our pivot door that's currently in production. So this is an 8-foot dunnage door to give you height perspective. When it's done, it'll be a 13-foot pivot door that will be roughly 8.5 feet wide. And this has illumination, LED illumination, both in the head of the jamb, from the outside grazing down. And Keith, our steel fabricator, is gonna be creating some real jewelry piece inlays inside of this wood slab door. It will be a massive pivot door with recess. This is kind of cool too. So we bucked out underneath the pivot door to be able to set our pivot mechanism into the slab so that you just see the finished plate of hardware and you don't see any apparatus.
Now, this is the part I keep saying. Most of the shit in this house, you don't just go buy off a shelf. You don't just pick up the phone to a vendor and say, I want to order this. This is stuff that you guys are coming up with. This is the part that blows your mind. I mean, and this is just like the tip of the iceberg of the things that I keep hearing about this house are things I didn't know were possible. Most people don't know are doable, and Jed and Todd are figuring out how to actually do this stuff.
The default statement is there's no SKU numbers. There's no catalog parts. Every single piece, we have the largest panoramic slab floor ever sold by Dahl. We spent 3 weeks laying out grout joints because it's a 16th on the inside, and we have a raised access floor that we're having panoramic slabs laminated to a honeycomb backer. So we're turning them into pedestal pavers, which is another first in the sizing that we're talking about. And we're breaking those 1/8-inch joints on our 16th-inch interior joints so that we have essentially a 32nd and a 32nd on each side. Everything is either an assemblage of different parts and pieces from different suppliers or manufacturers. The staircase, for an example, while it looks like the exterior is essentially a piece of rec tube or steel tubing, this is actually one piece of plate steel that we took a large piece of plate and we laser cut the shape. Then we had all of these roll formed on the inside corners, and this was all welded and ground to make it look like it just
looks like a solid.
It just looks like a solid piece of steel, but you can't bend and articulate tube steel without having deformation. So in order to eliminate deformation, we had them all individually cut and bent and then completely welded in Keith's shop, off-site.
Keith's amazing. Keith is absolutely amazing.
This staircase is actually pretty cool because the original helical radius staircase that was designed was beautiful. We've seen them before. I mean, I know a half a dozen homes that have a radius freestanding staircase, cool. Because we're greater than 14 feet floor to floor, code made us put in a landing, and that doesn't work with a helical stair.
I just realized it. 14 feet.
Floor to floor.
Floor to floor. That's a big mean floor. That's bigger than I didn't realize.
On our bridge section, because it's elevated.
So yeah, that is above your standard. A typical second floor is what? 10, 11,
12 max.
Got really tall ceilings.
The code is written for 12 and below.
So it looks all steel right now, just so you guys understand. This is going to remain steel. This
Correct.
all gets completely wrapped in wood.
Yep.
So it looks like just a wood stair tread system.
We've spent about 8 months because we've got over 4,000 feet of LED tape light from different manufacturers going into the residence. All of the final tread material come with those grooved in. We're gonna be having wire chases run through. But what's cool about this is there's no posts.
Right, so not only does it not deflect, there's no support. There's nothing supporting this entire structure.
We have two small little secrets that are in the wall that help, that allow this not to roll. This staircase is approximately 100 working days between procurement of our 3/4 inch plate.
Those are Keith 16-hour working days though.
Oh, nights, I mean, I would get text messages at 4:45 in the morning. So then, yeah, the underside will all be cladded in oak. And this is where there's a piano that we place in this location, where we have a 10,000 lumen, theater grade, optically correct spotlight that will allow you to have focused light on the pianist while they're playing.
That's really cool. We talked a little bit about the glass, and without diving too deep into it,
So
curved
it's
glass.
Yeah,
Tell me about it.
11/16 thick. So it's structural glass. It's a laminated glass we have straight runs that will be bolted to the side of the inside stringer. Then we come up and we make a curve in the glass. So for our rise and our run, so we curve the glass on the insides. There's no glass needed on the exterior side because the windows meet our code requirements for fall protection. Our handrail will be placed on top of the glass, and it will all be, again, that 11/16 laminated, inside curves, very tight curves.
And hold on, curved glass, we're talking about, like the way Jed's talking about, it's curved glass, it seems totally normal. This is absolutely not normal. This is not something we normally see. The amount of work that it took for you to figure out that this is actually doable and who to do it with, it's insane. I mean, you said you're talking to people in Japan, middle of the night.
Middle of the night, yep.
Trying to engineer this, and there's only 1 or 2 companies in the world, right?
Correct.
That are actually able to do glass
Of this tight of radius.
Of this thickness
Of this-
and the
yes,
radius.
Correct, correct.
That's wild.
It's slightly eerie in the evenings when no one is here because you can hear your heartbeat.
It's crazy.